Ooh, that looks tasty. Movie Gamer is back with another crowdfunding preview, and today we are talking about Snowfall Over Mountains, published by Pencil First Games, designed by Scott and Melissa Caputo, with illustrations by Julia Corner-Diru, and I do apologize for mispronouncing any of those names. Now, what this game is this is a solo-only tile placement game which has a beat-your-own-score mechanic, and you are basically building out, through the laying of tiles, a lovely surrounding of your cottage. And you're going to have bushes and trees and animal tracks and ponds and all of those things. And at the end of the game, you're going to score yourself based on the locations of various things on the tiles, those being trees, ponds, bears, rabbits, and bushes. Now, if you are not interested in how this game is played, so we'll jump into my final thoughts, then you want to go to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about how this game is played. First thing you're going to do is you are randomly going to assign different scoring conditions for the different ways that you will be scoring, as I said, being pond, bear, rabbit, bush, and trees. Additionally, you're going to take all of the various tools here, and you are randomly going to take 3 of them and keep 2, though for a harder game you might keep only 1. Then you're going to take 2 tiles, and you will put them in your hand like so. Then you're simply going to start building out, and you'll take one of your tiles and you will connect it to the tiles that are already there. And it's important to note that you can never lay on top of each other. You always simply have to keep connecting. And you'll notice I connected this path here because as you're playing, you're going to lose points if you ever have a tile with a path on it that does not make its way back to the initial tile with the cabin on it. And then after you play one, you'll draw a new one, and you'll always have 2 tiles, and you'll simply keep playing until you've used all the tiles. And overall, it's actually fairly simple. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a little bit of a fast forward. I'm just going to more or less randomly place a bunch of tiles out here so you can see how the scoring goes. And before I do that, I should point out that you have these single-use tools. So right here with the binoculars, I could draw 3 tiles, put one at the bottom of the stack and the other 2 at the top. And with this one here, I could move and or rotate a previously placed tile. And all the tools do various things like that, manipulating the deck of tiles and the tiles you already have out. But as I said, I'm going to more or less randomly place some tiles out now. All right, and obviously there are lots more tiles that I haven't placed, and obviously I very haphazardly place those out. But then you're going to come to the end of the game and you're going to score up how you have done. And each of the various cards has a different scoring mechanism. So for example here, each row that has only a single tree in it will get 1 point, and then you'll get 3 more points if all the trees qualify for that. So as we take a look here, we'll see that I have 1 point for that one, none, 2 points, 3 points. And I will just track it with some coins right here, with that being a 3-coin denomination. And then I have the pond here, and the pond says score 4 points per pond that is surrounded on all 4 sides. So in that case, I only have this one right here that's totally surrounded, so that is 4 more points, which brings me up to 7. Then I'm looking at the rabbit here, and that's 2 points per bush adjacent to my longest rabbit path. So I take a look and I see I have a 1, 2, 3, 4 rabbit path, and I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rabbit path. So I want to see if there are any bushes next to this, and there's 1 bush right there, which means I get 2 more points. And this one right here, 1 point per bush in my largest bush cluster. So if I look around, my largest bush cluster is over here, so I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points there. And then right here for the bear, I get 2 points per square of rabbit tracks adjacent to my longest bear path. My longest bear path is right here, and there is 1 space of rabbit tracks next to it, so I would get 2 points for that. Which gives me a grand total of 6, 12, 17 points. Then I get 1 point for every tool I have left over, taking me to 19 points. Then I'm going to lose 3 points for every tile that has path on it that does not connect back to the center. So that'll be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 points. So I would lose 15 points, which will give me a grand total of 4 points. Just a reminder, these are just coins I have next to me to make it a little easier for you to see what I'm counting. Obviously, that is a terrible, terrible score. which is what you could expect considering I put zero effort into what I was laying out, and I still have half the tiles left to go. But hopefully that gives you an idea of how this game is played. So what do I like about this game? The first thing is, and this is obvious, the size. I mean, this is teeny tiny, almost back pocket sized, which I really like. But also, it plays small. I did most of my playtesting for this game on a desk at school during my prep period or during lunch, which leads to the next thing. You can play one of these games very quickly. It does not take long to get a nice little brain-burny puzzle. It's really good for a small space, short breaks, just wanting to kind of separate from everybody and just kind of relax. And that brings to the next thing. It's a very relaxing game. It's just calming. I really can't complain about it. And it looks lovely as you're trying to get those tracks connected, and you just have this level, and you just kind of have this lovely top-down landscape pretty view, and it really is pleasant. I'm probably going to wind up saying that word several times, but pleasant is the word for it. It's just lovely and calming. Now, talking about the mechanics, you're really dealing with one mechanic here, right? You're dealing with tile laying, and that's pretty much all that you're doing. And it works really well. It has enough things that you're trying to track that it makes every single tile that you put down a hard decision. Yes, I can put this here, which is going to increase my bear track, but that's going to mess up my trees, so I'm going to get less points for this, but I might get more points for this. And the entire time, you're really chasing after all of these different scoring conditions, hoping that you can maximize them, but so often by maximizing one, you're hurting another, and that makes this game more replayable than it has any right to be in such a small box. And so that I absolutely adore. I think all the tools are a lovely addition. I found that I didn't use them too much because they're very situational when you need them, but also I'm not good at the game, so maybe if I use the tools better, I would have a better result. But they're there, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a, oh gosh, I made a mistake, but now I can use one of these tools and kind of fix what I've done. Also, I didn't show this in the video, there's a mini module expansion that adds some more scoring conditions, another tool. Great, lovely little mini expansion, fantastic to have in the box, and worth picking up if you're getting this game. And then the last thing I'll say is, even when you're not doing well, like this guy, it feels like you're doing well. It feels like you're scoring points. It feels like you're making something that's gonna work. And that's partially because you have this lovely thing that you've built, and also because you do get points for doing a lot of things. So sometimes even a mess up here can actually result in a good score over here. So with that said, what are my quibbles with the game? Well, the first one is I found it very hard. And that's probably just me and my lack of patience. But I found it pretty darn hard to get a high score, which is probably a good thing because that means there's more replayability, but I had a challenge with it. And part of my challenge was I really had a hard time letting go of some things. I really had a hard time letting those bear tracks just kind of disappear into nowhere. Same thing with the rabbit tracks. Like, irrationally hard. The same thing when it comes to the path, because that path to the cabin is punishing if you don't keep it connected, because losing 3 points per tile is a lot. So you really have to keep that kind of connected, and it can feel frustrating at times, at least for someone like me that just wants to make a pretty picture, to realize, well, now I'm not making a pretty picture because if I put this here, I'm going to lose points or I'm not going to get the points. And then the only other thing that I'm going to say about it is, which is obvious because as I said, this is a pleasant game, is it's not exciting. It's not an exciting game. It's a pleasant little brain burn. And that's all you're getting with it. You're only going to get 15 minutes of play each time you sit down. Though that said, I've played this game 5-6 times and would happily play it a lot more, but I have to send this thing on. So there's a lot of play in this small box, but each individual session is just very short and quick, which is not a bad thing at all, but just understand what it is that you're getting in this box. But there you have it, folks. That's really all I have to say. I think this game does exactly what it sets out to do. It is a solo, small box, small play area, small play time solo game that is going to make your brain cook, has a good amount of replay for what's in that box. I'm not going to say it's unlimited replay, but a good amount of replay in that box. And I think it's just a lovely, pleasant little game. I've said it before, I think Scott Caputo is one of the best tile laying designers out there, and he shows it again here, though he did have help from who I assume is his wife. I'm not sure, but I think that's his wife that designed this one with him. It's a lovely game and another wonderful little entry into this pocket size series of games that Pencil First Games has been coming out with lately. So there you have it, folks. That is Snowfall Over Mountains. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.